Hello everyone and welcome to Cap at Home. I'm Miss Rachel and today I am going to show you how to make a French knitting tool and how to use it. So the materials that you will need include toilet paper rolls. You'll just need one, but if you have multiples you might find that this is so easy you can do a couple more. So toilet paper rolls. You'll need some popsicle sticks. You'll need 4 to complete this, but if you have more, that's fine. You'll need a ruler or measuring tape, something to write with. It can be pen or pencil, scissors, and tape. I'm using duct tape because it is pretty sturdy and it will really help me keep my popsicle sticks on my tool, but you can also use clear tape. So a couple notes before we get started. You will need string for the second part. That's how you use the tool. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples. When I first made this tool, I used this chunky string and it worked great with my regular toilet paper roll sized tool. So you see my tool isn't beautiful. It doesn't need to be because what it creates is beautiful, right? So this is some chunky yarn. You can see this is a lot thicker than the yarn I'll be using in the demonstration today. So I brought this up because if you have chunky yarn, then using your toilet paper roll the size that it is will work well. But I used this same tool to try to do it with the yarn that I have today, and my weave came out pretty loose and I didn't really like the structure, so I made my tube smaller, considerably thinner, see? And then I came out with a better sized I-cord is what this is called. So I am going to show you how to make your tool and how to make it smaller if you have thinner yarn than I started out with. So let's get started. So hopefully you have your toilet paper roll here. To make this tube smaller, the only thing you need to do is take your scissors, cut this, and then roll it a little bit tighter than it already is. So it's up to you to kind of gauge. You'll have to play around with it to see what you get from what you make. But I think that is about a good size, so I'm just going to use my clear tape to tape that in place. There. Straighten it out a little bit. There we go. Just going to put my tape there to hold my tube in place. So the next step, since I have adjusted my toilet paper roll, if you don't want to do this step, you don't need to. So just a little note. Now I have my popsicle sticks. You can also do this with bobby pins if you want, so just keep that in mind. I've colored these because it helps when I'm going to show you how to use the tool. It helps to have colors so that you don't get confused when we're using the tool. You do not have to color your sticks, but I find it does help when learning. So my sticks are colored, but I'm going to use this stick that I have that doesn't have any colors to show you this step. You want to line your stick up with your ruler and make a mark at the 1 inch place. And you're going to do that on all of your sticks because you'll need to put your sticks onto your tube so that they are no higher than 1 inch, because if they're taller, they make it makes it difficult to actually use the tool. And then if it's too short, then the sticks won't hold the yarn the way they're supposed to, and that's going to make a lot more sense at the end of the video. But I'm just making marks on the front and the back, so either way I pick this up I can use it. You can make marks just on one side, it doesn't really matter as long as you have them on there somewhere. And now I'm going to take my toilet paper tube and make I'm going to make marks in 4 places. I'm going to make one here, directly across from it, there, and then here, and directly across from it there. So You could go and try to make these marks perfectly in the 1-inch area so you can line it up, but I'm just going to do this. I'm going to make a mark here, and then directly across from it, I'm going to make a mark on the inside. So that's my easy little way of knowing that you made a mark directly across. So these should be pretty evenly spaced. Now I'm going to turn it to the side so I can't see those marks, and make a mark here, and then make a mark directly across from it on the inside. So that's just a nifty little trick to making your marks and kind of making sure that they are equidistant apart, which means there's the same amount of space in between each mark. So now I'm going to take these popsicle sticks, and this is where my tape comes in handy. If you have hot glue, you can definitely hot glue these sticks into place, but I would suggest putting tape on it too, because you really want to reinforce the bonds between the popsicle sticks and the toilet paper tube, because this is a tool that you'll be using over and over again, so you want to make sure it's strong. So I'm just going to line up this 1-inch mark with the top here and tape that into place. You can tape it directly over your mark, which is what I'm going to do, or you could tape it to the side, doesn't matter. So I'm placing my tape on there, and I'm going to make sure I crease it right there in between the side of the popsicle stick and the toilet paper roll, because I don't want any extra space to be in there. I want this stick to stay on the tube. So now I'm just going to go around, line up my 1-inch mark, which might be hard to see on that purple, and then line up my mark on the tube and stick it in place. I'm going to do that for all of them, and I'm using these long pieces of tape just to reinforce all of my popsicle sticks as I line them up. Oh, now my thing is on the inside, so I'll line it up there. Because having too much tape is not a thing with this project. You can have as much tape as you want, because it's just going to make this stronger. Alrighty. So make sure I'm creasing it down. And then our last one, my mark is on the inside. So I'm lining up that brown stick with the mark on the inside. And I'm also lining up the 1-inch mark with the top of the paper tube, or the toilet paper tube. And it doesn't need to be super precise or perfect. And as you can see, it also does not need to be beautiful. We are just getting it done so we can use our tool to create some Icords. So this tool is called a French knitter, but when I did a little research on the internet, people call the cords or chains that you make when they with this tool an Icord. So this is the tool. Voila! I am going to add a little more tape, and by a little more tape I mean a lot more tape, and just crease it down in the sides of the popsicle sticks like I did earlier, and go around and just make sure everything is good. Lift up this piece. There we go. Okay. There we go. And if you think I'm done, I'm not. There we go. More tape. So like I said, you just really can't have too much tape. I just want to make sure this thing doesn't fall apart. Not that I've had one fall apart, but like I said, this is a tool, so you want to make sure it is in working condition. And if you have like cute duct tape with hearts or glitter, or I don't know, whatever kind of fancy stuff you can get on duct tape now, you could do that if you don't want your tool to look, you know, like this with the silver duct tape. But this doesn't bother me, so I'm not going to decorate it. But if you wanted to, you could draw something in and then tape it on the outside so that your tool could be more decorative. But I'm not concerned with that. We have our tool, and it only took us a few minutes to make. So now I'm going to grab my yarn, and you do not need to cut your yarn. You just need to find the beginning of it first. So grab your yarn, and I'm going to sit down, so I might seem a little farther away, but I'm going to show you how to use your tool. So you want to lace your string through this tube so that it comes out of the bottom. This is the top and this is the bottom. So we're going to put this string through this way. Psych, I'm going to stand up so I can make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so now my string is coming out of the bottom. I'm going to pull it so I have, 4 or 5 inches out of the bottom, just so I have a tail. I want to make sure I have a tail. It doesn't matter how long it is. And I'm going to pull some more string to make my life easier. Okay. Get that off to the side. So what we're going to do is wrap our string around each stick 2 times and then pull the loops off to start to create a chain. So bear with me. I'm going to start with my orange stick and then go counterclockwise. So that means I'm going to do orange, then purple, then green, and then brown. So I'm going to take this yarn and wrap it around this orange stick. And then I'm going to go to the purple stick and wrap it around the purple stick. Now I'm going to the green, wrapping it around. Now I'm on to the brown, wrapping it around. So it starts to form a square in the middle. Now I'm going to do that again around the orange, purple, green, brown. So I got my orange. Now I'm over here at the purple. I'll wrap this around. Now it's around at the green, wrapping it around the brown. So now my string is, I'm going to hold it in place right between my brown and my orange. So the first and the last stick. Okay, so if I turn this around, you can see that I have 2 loops of string on each popsicle stick. That is what you want. Okay? So starting, we're going to remember that we're starting with our orange, and I'm going to pull this bottom loop up and over this top loop and off of the popsicle stick. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not. That just means that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use my tail down here, kind of tug that into place. Now I'm going to go on to my purple one, take the bottom loop, pull it away from the stick a little bit like that, and now I'm going to put it over the pink loop and off of the stick and pull my tail just a little bit. Now the green, taking the bottom loop over the top loop, off of the stick, and pulling the tail. And this is how you create your chain. So I'm going to do it a couple more times, and you people at home have the wonderful ability to mute me if my instructions are getting in the way of you figuring this out, but I'm going to talk through it again a couple more times just to make sure that you've got it. So now that we've taken our loops off, we only have 1. So we're going to do that first step again. We're going to come around our orange stick and then wrap it around the purple stick, wrap it around the green stick, wrap it around the brown stick. And then I'm going to hold my string down along the tube with my thumb in between the brown and orange. And now we're going to take the bottom loop off here, pull the string. Bottom loop off this stick, pull the string. Bottom loop here, pull the string. So this is really repetitive, and you have plenty of time to practice and get the hang of it. So after you've done the 4, then you have to wrap the sticks again, because you always need to work with 2 loops. So I'm going to do that, pull that, and you can push your loops down if you feel like they're going to come off. That's completely fine. It doesn't mess anything up. And I would suggest coloring your sticks, or even adding letters or numbers. So if you didn't want to color your sticks, you could add A, B, C, D, or even, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be fine. And another thing about this project is it is scalable. And that means you can make a bigger tube with more popsicle sticks and be able to get larger projects. So I've seen some tubes that are really big, and because they have that big area, they can make hats and socks and scarves and all kinds of things. So there's a number of things you can do with this. Like I said, you can make this bigger. You could even make it smaller. I'm not sure why you would, but if you can think of a reason, definitely let us know in the comments. So I'm just going to keep going around. And once you do this for a while, you will start to see your I-cord grow out of the bottom. Okay, where am I? Okay, I finished all of that. Okay. So make sure you're taking your time because it can get a little tricky. But as long as you know, if you have 2 loops on your popsicle stick, then you need to go ahead and take the bottom loop off by lifting it over the top loop and off of the popsicle stick. And then if you're like, oh my god, where am I now? Well, I only have 1 loop on each one, so I need to go ahead and wrap this again so I have 2 loops and I can continue. Okay. And one thing I like about this project is I don't have to cut my string or yarn ahead of time, so I can keep doing this until I run out of my entire skein of yarn. But I'm not going to do that here. I am just going to keep doing this long enough for you to see it grow, and then I'm going to show you how to cast off or finish your whatever you're making, your I-cord. Once you get done with this, you can make it into a bracelet, necklace. You can, like I said, make scarves. I've even seen some things online where people have used these cords that they made on stuffed animals to make an octopus, which was really cute. So there are a lot of things you can do, and we would love to see your creativity in the comments. Show us your tool, show us how it came together, show us what you made with your tool. You can model it. If it's jewelry, you can show us a picture of it as a stuffed animal if you decided to make one of those. So like, pump up that creativity. Let's see what you can do with this, where you can take this. So, and you'll notice that this is a project you don't really need to do inside. It's a nice day outside. You can do this outside in the backyard. You can do it while you're watching TV if that's what you're doing. So, okay, it's starting to grow and you can see it coming out of the bottom here. So I'll do one more round of loops and then I'll show you how to finish this. Okay, pull that there. And I think the great thing about making your own tools is if you mess up your tool, if you used it too much, you can just make another one. Alright, so I have my cord starting to grow. Later on I'm going to make one that's super long, but so that I can show you how to finish this, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut your string, and you want to make sure you have a length of string that's long enough for you to put your loops through the, or put the end of the string through all of the loops. So you don't want to cut it too short. I would suggest cutting it about 10 inches or so. So I'm going to snip mine right here. And then just because I know that I had an issue with this unraveling, I'm going to add a little bit of tape to the end of the string that I will cut off later, but it's going to help me keep this string together. I'm going to twist it and then just add this clear tape, which is almost impossible to see. I'm just wrapping the tape around the string so that it kind of becomes a little aglet, which is the little plastic thing at the end of your shoelaces. So now I'm going to make sure I'm starting at the orange, and I'm going to lift my loop off and put the tail of the string through that loop. Go to my purple one, lift the loop off, put the tail of my string through the loop, lift the loop off the green string or the green popsicle stick, put the tail through it, and then my brown one is the last one. I'm gonna stick this string through the tail. Now I can pull this out of my tube, and I'm gonna hold it up here and just pull it until I feel it become kind of a knot. And now I know it's secured, and I have an icord, and I can use this as a bracelet if I wanted to, or a necklace, or whatever else my mind can think of. And like I said, I don't want this at the end, so I can just snip it off. But because I cut my string long enough, I can still do things like tie this on as a bracelet or necklace, or use this however I want to. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. This is Miss Rachel, and today we made a French knitting tool, and I showed you how to use your tool to make an icord. So remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to check out our library of videos so that you can do whatever crafts you want whenever you want, because you have access to our libraries online. And make sure you're following us to keep up with more programs and things that we might be rolling out a little bit later on. And we would love if you would join us at 2 o'clock for a porcelain project with Miss Van. So make sure you come on back here at 2 o'clock. Again, I'm Miss Rachel. We did French knitting. Thank you so much and have a great day.